The most dangerous liars don't stumble over their words, they perfect them, weaving narratives so flawless they become their own undoing. They don't trip on forgotten details, instead, they trip on too many details, or on the subtle linguistic inconsistencies that betray a fabricated past. Their very perfection is the first crack in their elaborate facade, a subtle verbal glitch that, once recognized, makes their entire world of deceit crumble before you. You are about to understand the precise psychological mechanism behind the verbal glitch of a pathological liar. This isn't about intuition or guesswork. It is about equipping you with an advanced diagnostic toolkit to dissect speech, revealing the underlying manipulation. Recognizing this hidden language is not just an academic exercise, it is a critical defense mechanism, a shield against those who operate by twisting truth itself, saving you from financial ruin, emotional devastation, and profound betrayal. Consider the immense cognitive load required to maintain a lie. A typical lie demands simultaneous suppression of the truth, invention of a false narrative, and monitoring of the listener's reaction, all while ensuring internal consistency. For most people, this effort creates measurable stress responses and detectable verbal cues, hesitations, increased pitch, or reduced gesturing. But a pathological liar, a truly compulsive fabricator, often bypasses some of these typical stress indicators, not because they are honest, but because lying is their default operating system. Their brain isn't struggling to suppress truth, it is struggling to invent and maintain a perfectly plausible alternate reality. This constant high-level fabrication leaves a signature, a subtle residue in their speech patterns. Research by Dr. Charles V. Ford, exploring conditions like pseudologia fantastica, highlights how these individuals often present narratives that are internally consistent within their fabricated world, but dangerously inconsistent with verifiable reality. They aren't just making up a small detail, they are constructing entire personal histories, entire careers, entire relationships, and it is this very act of constant construction that produces what we call the verbal glitch. They are constructing a bridge to nowhere, and the tiny linguistic fissures appear not from effort, but from the sheer volume and complexity of the non-existent structure they are building. You will find their stories often replete with over-generalizations, statements like "everyone knows" or "I always do that," designed to fill informational gaps that a truthful person would populate with specific, verifiable details. The real revelation is that these aren't signs of nervousness, they are structural weaknesses in a meticulously crafted fiction. This isn't theory, this is the reality playing out undetected in countless lives every single day. Imagine a colleague recounting a challenging project. Before you understood the verbal glitch, you might hear, "Oh, it was a nightmare last week. Things just kept piling up, you know? But I handled it all. Everything's fine now. Don't worry." Sounds convincing, right? They sound like a hero. But after recognizing the glitch, your internal alarm bells would be screaming. Where are the specifics? "Things just kept piling up" is an overgeneralization. What things? I handled it all. How? Consider how this contrasts with a truthful account. Last Tuesday was insane. The client presentation crashed right before the meeting. Then Sarah from marketing needed the revised budget by 4, and I was still fixing the system error from Monday. I stayed until 11 working on the backup servers and got the presentation running just in time. That's specific. That's real. A pathological liar often provides impeccable details about the setting or background characters, but astonishingly vague or generic details about their own actions or internal experiences within that scenario. A meta-analysis of verbal cues to deception, including work by Dr. Bella DePaulo, demonstrates that deceptive narratives often contain fewer self-references and more abstract, non-immediate language. They might describe the conference room perfectly, down to the brand of coffee served, but when pressed about their specific contributions to the discussion, they revert to "I offered my insights" or "I contributed significantly." Can you remember a time someone told you a story that felt incredibly vivid in its secondary details, yet strangely hollow at its core, especially when it came to their personal actions? This pattern isn't accidental. The liar has observed, absorbed, and can accurately report external facts, but they cannot authentically invent their own actions or feelings without triggering those telltale glitches. They often present perfect, almost photographic details of external events that they could have witnessed or heard about, but their memory recall for their own specific internal experiences or unique contributions to the situation is often vague, inconsistent, or even strangely generic. It's like watching a movie with an incredible set but a wooden main actor. This mechanism operates in romantic relationships too. The partner who promises, "I will always love you, no matter what," then abandons you the moment things get difficult. The always and no matter what were the verbal glitch, a grand generalization substituting for genuine specific commitment that their future actions would inevitably expose. So, how do you protect yourself from this insidious form of manipulation? You develop an ear for the authentic and an eye for the fabricated. First, master the tense shift trap. Pay close attention to sudden, illogical shifts in verb tense when someone is recounting a continuous event. A truthful person describes a past event consistently in the past tense. A liar, in the mental gymnastics of fabrication, might unconsciously jump from past to present, or even future, as they mentally construct the scene. For example, "I went to the store, and then the cashier tells me the price is wrong, so I decide to leave." The sudden shift from past tense, went, to present tense, tells, decide, is a microsignal. It implies the liar is no longer recalling a memory but narrating a live internal fabrication. When you hear this, gently interject, "You just shifted to present tense there. Can you tell me again about what happened, just focusing on the past?" This often forces them back into a more difficult, less fluid fabrication mode, or even into a clumsy correction that betrays their struggle. Second, employ the information density discrepancy strategy. When someone recounts a story, listen for the balance of detail. As discussed, liars often provide rich, verifiable details about the setting or others' actions, but scant, generic specifics about their own. If someone describes the vibrant decorations at a party but can't name 3 people they spoke to or one specific conversation they had, that's a red flag. Your defense here is to ask for unique, verifiable details about their direct experience. Not just "what did you do?" but "what was the most unusual thing you specifically observed?" Or "can you recall a detail from that moment that only you would have noticed?" These types of questions require original thought and genuine recall, making it incredibly difficult for a fabricator to maintain consistency. Third, recognize and neutralize the over-generalization shield. This is the liar's go-to defense when they lack specific information. Phrases like "everyone agreed," "it always happens this way," "I never lie," or "the entire department felt that," are almost always designed to avoid providing actual individual instances. Your defense is to calmly and persistently challenge the generalization, not aggressively but analytically. "Everyone agreed? Can you name 3 specific people who voiced their agreement?" Or "it always happens this way? Can you give me 2 other specific examples of when it unfolded exactly like that?" This forces them to either double down on their lie with more fabrications, which will likely introduce new glitches, or to admit the lack of specific evidence, effectively disarming their shield. This is not about winning an argument, it is about gathering intelligence on their deceptive patterns. You will begin to see it everywhere. The subtle shifts in tense, the grand, sweeping statements that evaporate under even the gentlest inquiry, the vivid descriptions of irrelevant backdrops paired with the hollow core of personal experience. Social interactions are no longer just conversations. They are intricate tapestries where you can now discern the frayed threads and loose stitches of deceit. You are no longer just a listener, passively absorbing narratives. You have become an active analyst, tuning into the very frequency of fabrication. This understanding will shift your perception of reliability, trustworthiness, and authenticity. You will filter information differently, not with cynicism, but with a honed precision, protecting your mind and your life from the architects of illusion. Stay vigilant. The landscape of human interaction is complex, fraught with unseen mechanisms designed to sway, mislead, and control. Mastering the verbal glitch is just one step. There are other, even more subtle manipulations at play, mechanisms that hide in plain sight, waiting for the unwary. Continue to sharpen your perception, because the next insight you gain will peel back yet another layer of what you thought was reality, revealing the true forces at work beneath.